Welcome to the Diaries of Anxious Black Mom. I'm your host, Salam Miscano. Every week, I and my occasional guest share personal journeys in work, self-improvement, relationships, all with a lens of personal experiences of being a Black mom. Let's get started. Good morning, everyone. This is Salam coming from Diaries of Anxious Black Mom. I hope you guys are doing amazing. A couple of announcements before we get into today's episode. I shared this on my Anxious Black Mom Instagram page. If you haven't already, you should follow me there. So I've been doing this podcast for 3 months now, and 3 months mark, and I have more than 1,000 listens on my podcast, and I've produced 20 episodes of my podcast, which is actually really amazing, because that means every week I've been producing at least one podcast. There were a couple of weeks in the beginning where I actually did more than one, but now I'm consistently posting at least one episode a week, and so that's very consistent of me, and I'm very excited about that. And more than 1,000 listens on my 20 episodes. That's really good. I don't have a comparison because I've never done a podcast before, but I'm just really proud of myself and proud of just all people like me who just go in and just jump in and try something, because it's I don't know a lot about podcasts except that I like listening to podcasts, and I felt like there was something I've been wanting to say, and I just was able to use this to create my own platform to speak about things I cared about. And it's just, and then I feel like people are really receiving it well. And so, a lot of moms out there who are listening to me, a lot of women in general listening to me, women of color, Black women, and I'm just really feeling a lot of gratitude for folks who are connecting on the topics that I'm talking about. So that's the announcement. And then last week I talked about my 6 months into COVID-19 pandemic and so many other social things that are happening right now. What were some of the things that I'm doing to stay healthy and to stay well? And as I just said earlier, I'm doing well, but I was feeling a little overwhelmed, which means that, it's a continuous process. We're learning how to manage. And I think one of the things I've learned is that whenever something big and kind of scary happens, like the start of the pandemic, there is a lot of energy that we naturally have, because we're humans. We want to survive. And so then there's a lot of energy that you kind of exert and have. And I feel like during that start of the COVID, I started a weekly community COVID response program. And I started a podcast, and I had to completely pivot on my job because the work that I do had a very physical component to it, where we were running events and programming in a facility, and that completely shut down. So then I had to completely pivot how I was doing work, and I lost a couple of folks that I was working with. So there's just so many changes that happened, but I feel like I've been able to really put all of me into it, and really be able to just kind of not only survive but thrive, and really be able to make an impact in those ways. And I'm really proud of myself for that. At the same time, all of that has a cost on your body, and I feel it's been a lot for me, and I feel like I am now just feeling it, because like I said, the first 6 months or so of the pandemic, I was just really just going and responding to what was needed. I wasn't asking myself do I have the ability to do this or not. I just did them. Because again, it was sort of an emergency response, and now it's kind of wearing on me. So I am starting to put in place more structure where there's other people who can support me on the different projects that I have, because one person is not really able to, carry that on. You can do it for a little bit, but you can't do it for a very long time because it just isn't sustainable. So that's kind of what I've been doing, and I think that, what I said last week stands, and I think probably one of the biggest things is just realizing, like, in an emergency situation, we probably can respond and do a lot and stay up and just be kind of superhuman, but we can't have that happen for a very extended time because our body isn't meant to do that. And so I think that's just a learning for me and about myself and about the human, like, psychology and ability. And so that's kind of where I am now, where I'm like, okay, like, I can't go on like this for the next another 6 months, but, like, what are the things I can do, and how can I still continue to make the impact that I want to make, but do it in a more sustainable way? And so that's kind of where I am. And so actually, I think that today's episode actually goes very well with this topic, because so I've been, one of the ways that I think that motherhood and the pandemic and all of this stuff that's happening right now is teaching me is the importance of managing my time and managing my energy. So I am one of those people, like, I remember, like, for 2 years, I used to be one of those people, like, I would wake up at, like, 5:30 in the morning with my husband, and we would, like, go and exercise, go to the gym and, like, work out. And so I'm at my job at, like, 7:30 or 8, like, and people are like, what the, like, I'm there so early. And that's because, like, I would, wake up so early to exercise. And it wasn't easy, but then once I got used to it, it was just, like, kind of became part of my identity, like, that sort of grit, like, of, like, waking up early. And, if you live in the Northwest, you know how dark it is and cold it can be in the mornings, and waking up earlier than you need to is really hard. But, I think the fact that, like, both me and Jonas were doing it together, that really helped. So I would be, like, that kind of a person, and I am not that person anymore after having a baby. Like, it just isn't feasible for me to do that anymore, because as you can imagine, like, Abim is not waking up at 5:30 and, like, ready to go. She's sleeping at that time, so we can't leave the house at that time. So anywho, it's really been an interesting time because we've had to think about our time very differently. Not only are we spending, like, not only do we have less time, we also just have less energy. So, really being able to, like, look at our calendar and, like, block off time for certain things that we need is really important. And one of the things that's really hard for me is I'm someone who gets really excited by different opportunities, and I want to try things, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. Like, yeah, I want to go to that workshop, that has nothing to do with my job, or, like, I want to go meet this person, or I want to do this activity. And I tend to be like that, and so does my husband. So we really have to curve those things, those kind of desires, because, well, like, you just don't have enough energy to do all that, and so we're people who not only are we active in our job and we do kind of mission-oriented jobs, but also we are also very active in our own personal communities. And so, and then being a mom and all of that too. So it's been really interesting because, yeah, I think we just have had less time and less energy to spend. So then we have to be a lot more picky about, like, the activities we take and then like, even the people that we might be around. And so, anywho, I just think that project management has been a really important, time management has been really important. And so nowadays I really think about my time in a chunk, like 2 hour at a time, before 9 a.m. or before 10 a.m., like what's that chunk gonna look like? And then, like, once I start working, when I sit down at my desk, like, I have a 2 hour chunk where I need to sit and, like, really focus, because otherwise, like, that's like precious time, especially the times that you're not around your kid is, like, so critical, because that's the time you can actually really focus on some of your activities or jobs. And the type of work that I do, it really is very active. Like, it takes a lot of my attention. Like, I can't kind of passively do my job. I think most jobs are not like that, but some jobs are like that. But yeah, my job is not one where I can kind of passively do. Like, I have to really concentrate. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that that's something I'm learning right now, is how to be better at project management, how to also just say no to opportunities, even though I want to do them, but like, you know, it just isn't possible for me to try and do everything. So, you know, it's an interesting time. I don't like saying no to things, especially things that sound exciting to me and all of that. So I'm definitely learning how to manage my time and all of that. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have tips on project management, let me know. I've been using an app called Trello. That's what I've been using, and it's pretty nice. Like, I've used it in the past, but now I'm actually really investing time in it to input it and learn how it works and tailor it and customize it for myself. But I've also heard about things like Calendly. I heard that's like a nice like way to like schedule meetings and stuff like that and save time, how to do that. I also use Microsoft To Do is another thing. I use that for my job. So anywho, just let me know what you all are using to get yourself organized and you know, making sure that you are using your time wisely. So if you guys have tips or ideas on that, let me know. Sorry, I was kind of distracted because I was parking, but I try to do all my talking while my phone is actually like sitting down, so I don't hold it on me. Anywho, but yeah, that's, you know, where I am at is project management, time management. Let me know if you guys have good tools that combine like life, like personal and professional life, because what I found is that a lot of the programs are like really good for one but not the other, or like they're good for a specific project but they're not good for like, you know, continuous tasks that you have to do every week or every month. So I'm still definitely like in search mode of project management tools, but for now Trello does seem to do what I needed to do. So hope you're all really well. Have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye.